Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you the 11 books I read in the month of January. I started off this year on a good note. I got so much reading done. I enjoyed some of what I read. I did a couple of blog tours. I did a buddy read without a long introduction because I'm trying to keep my videos short. My long ass videos take so long to upload with my crappy internet. A 29-minute video takes 4 hours to upload. So, without further ado, I want to show you the first book that I read this month, or in January. It's Walking the Americas by Lonesome Wood. I don't have a physical copy. It was a library copy. It is a nonfiction. I started the year off with a nonfiction. And it is about this former British paratrooper who's become an explorer, and he's walking I think 1,800 miles from Mexico to Colombia. He's walking through Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama, and all the way to Colombia. And it talks about his journey through gang territories and getting stopped by gang members and just hitting up a active volcano. And yeah, it's a documentary on Channel 4 in the UK. I learned about Lonesome Wood from his documentary Walking the Nile. I have not read that book yet, but I did see that show on Animal Planet, and I became obsessed. He is such an amazing storyteller, even in his documentary, and I was so fascinated by his journey. So yeah, I'm going to keep reading his books and watching his shows. So yeah, I forget what I gave that one. I will put my star ratings down below. But I think I gave him a 4 out of 5. It was very hilarious because his guide Alberto, he just kept talking about tacos. The second book I read was Ash Princess in preparation for my blog tour spot on Lady Smoke. I read this one after Ash Princess. Ash Princess is a fantasy about this kingdom being taken over by this... how can I say it? It's a kingdom that depletes the resources of where they take over, and then they go and take over another spot and start depleting its resources. We follow the main character, Theo. Her name is Theodosia Hamilton. No, sorry. But we follow the main character, Theo. She is a slave to the Kaiser, who has taken over her land of Atrea. And the Kaiser murdered her mother in front of her, and she was only 6 years old. And the resource that Atrea is known for is spirit gems. It's kind of like Avatar, The Last Airbender, where there are elements, earth, air, fire, and water. The gems help motivate and energize those elements in a person, and it can make you go crazy. So the Kaiser, who's taken over the land, he has the slaves that he didn't kill from Atrea mining the rest of these gems for him so they can wear them, and if they stay down in the mine too long, they go mine mad, and he's eventually turning them into weapons. So Lady Smoke, I'm not going to tell you all it's about because it's a spoiler, but it's damn good. I liked this one more than the first one. It doesn't have that second book syndrome, where the second book is always crappier than the first. But I enjoyed this one because it had a lot more action, it was a lot more intense, and it had so much female empowerment. Laura Sebastian, it came out, or it's coming out, I think in March, but it says April. So it's either coming out February or March, but And this was a blog tour spot. I will leave the link down to my blog tour post down below. The fourth book I read in January was Jungle Land by Christopher S. Stewart. It is a nonfiction. It's 2 different stories. It's about I forget the explorer's name. I will put it down below, but it's about this explorer's journey finding the White City, the Lost White City in Central America. And then Christopher S. Stewart, he took his own journey he's taken a similar adventure and route that this explorer that he's following. He's taking the same track and trying to find this White City. I didn't really enjoy this book. I thought that the author was just doing it for attention, that he was disappointed and just midlife crisis. At the end, he didn't really find the White City, or he was told that the White City is just a figment of your imagination and what you want it to be, and it's not really a thing, but it's not really a place, but a thought. And yeah, he just wanted the attention that this explorer got, and he wanted the same thing. It was not good, in my opinion. I didn't enjoy it at all. I don't recommend it, but I did like the explorers, the old explorers part, because he was a spy in World War II. He did have fun on his adventure and become the first person to walk in that spot, I think, in those places. I don't know. It wasn't memorable. Exactly. I can't even speak about it because I don't remember. The next book I buddy read with my friend JT. What's up, girl? And the book is One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I read her newest book back in December, Two Can Keep a Secret, and I really enjoyed that one. Ooh. Ain't that the worst sound in the world? Falling crayons and falling Legos. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I read Two Can Keep a Secret in December, and I really enjoyed it. And so I wanted to read One of Us is Lying before I read Two Can Keep a Secret, but I'm glad I didn't, because One of Us is Lying was fucking awful. I hated it. It made you think that each one of them did it, and then it made you think that the teacher done it. It was basically a whodunit, Pretty Little Liars. But why are you sharpening pencils? Stop it! My kids are aggravating. Okay, but yeah, the ending sucked. One of the characters' names was Adeline, or Addie. Yeah, her name was Addie. And that's my kid's name. And I hated that character with a passion. That character was so fucking stupid. And then the author turns the character of Addie from a ditzy, dumb blonde who's can't do anything without her boyfriend to, I'm quote, badass ninja investigator, unquote. No, it was not good. No bueno. My rating is down below. The next book I listened to was my first audiobook of the year, and it's What Elephants Know by Eric Dinerstein. It's basically like a Jungle Book retelling, but it's not. It's about this little boy named Nandu. He was found in the Nepalese jungle when he was 2, and the people who found him, or the man who found him, thinks that he was from a Buddhist family because he was found with a red string tied around his neck, When he was found, he was being looked after by a pack of wild dogs named the Dole, and he's always had a connection with them. And the elephant keeper, who became his adoptive father, was riding an elephant, and the elephant's name is Davy Collie. And when we read the book, he's, I think, 12 or 13 years old. He considers the guy who found him his adoptive father, and he considers the elephant Davy Collie his mother, because she's protective, she's loving towards him, and she knows when something's wrong, and she tries to protect him. So they live in an elephant stable in the national park in Nepal, and there's a bunch of tigers, and the elephants aren't afraid of the tigers. Davy Collie's not afraid of the tiger. Well, at the very beginning, Nandu and all of the elephant keepers are going on this royal hunting party that the king is hosting for all of his advisors, and he comes across a tiger, and Nandu screams at the tiger to run away, and the king misses his shot, and he actually kept the king from breaking the law, because in Nepal around this time it was against the law to kill a female tiger. And sure enough, this tiger came with her cubs after she ran away and showed the king, yes, I'm a female, I have babies, thank you for not killing me. And yeah, it's basically a Jungle Book retelling. I love this story. I read the second book, A Circle of Elephants, and this one was just my favorite. I enjoyed this one better than the first one. It's all about poaching and how they're trying to keep the poachers out away from the rhinos, because the rhinos has killed half the rhino population in this national park already. And one of the main elephants, the rival male elephant, this is not Davy Collie, this is her son, Hira Prashad. This is Davy Collie's son, and he is the alpha male of the elephant stable. And so he comes across another male elephant that's wild, and they fight, and then one day the rival elephant is found dead and his tusk removed. Yeah, so it's all about poaching. It's really sad, it's heartbreaking. It makes me want to punch every poacher in the face and kill them and cut off something that's important to them. And so, yeah, 5 out of 5. Highly recommend. And the author was actually in Nepal in this national park, and so his experience is valid. The next book is The Train to Impossible Places by P.G. Bell. We read this for school. This was Ariana's Alcrate book from her October box. And it's about trains. It's about gremlins. What are they? Trolls? Yeah, Trollville. It was good. It was cute. I enjoyed it. It's basically about this little girl. She's a whiz, and one weekend on a Friday, her parents are trying to get her to chill on her homework, and her parents fall asleep on the couch because they're doctors or scientists or something like that. And she goes to bed, her parents are asleep, and she hears a banging, and she goes downstairs to find a troll laying train tracks through her living room. Her parents are asleep, and the troll freaks out, and they get into a scuffle, and she takes his wand, and then a train goes through, and she jumps on the back, and they go to all the impossible places and do all the impossible things that you're not supposed to. She meets a villain who you think is evil, but it turns out she's not. Or is she? And the good guy you think is really the bad guy, or is he? But yeah, I read the author letter, and it said that the author made the story up to his son one night during a bedtime story, and I absolutely loved that fact. I loved facts that the authors put in their letters, and how this could be a bedtime story, and how he built on it, and how he made it a thing. And I'm hoping that there's a book 2. I don't know, I haven't checked. Owlcrate chooses the best books, and this was a great read in our homeschooling journey. And nothing is impossible. If you're not following me on my Instagram, the link is down below. If you don't know, I am participating in the Year of Epic Reads. I'm doing the weekly challenges, and one of the weeks, I think week 4 or week 3, was to read a graphic novel. And so I picked up Phoebe and Her Unicorn. This is Adeline's copy. As you can see, it is very well loved. And this book, it is so funny. It's cute, it's humorous, it's Princess Stupid Butt. The unicorn is so egotistical and narcissist, and the little girl is just bold and clever and sassy, and it's just, it goes on a whole adventure of her finding this unicorn at the lake, and the unicorn like being sarcastic right back to her. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I laughed. I was reading it, and my husband heard me out the window outside laughing my ass off, and I read him what I was laughing at, and he busted out laughing too. And so yeah, and we just bought the second book for her birthday. That was yesterday on the 6th. And yeah, I want to read that one now. But yeah, this is so cute. It's by Dana Simpson. Go give this a read. If you're feeling upset and you just need a laugh, pick this up. So cute. It's not childish at all. It's got its inappropriate moments, but it's worth it. I also took part in a readathon, the 24 and 48 readathon. It took place on January 26th and January 27th. I read for 9 hours. Was not that great, but I did well. And the first book that I read in that readathon was City of Fallen Angels. I also did a reading vlog. I started this on the Wednesday before that readathon happened, and I finished it on a Saturday. And if you have not seen the reading vlog, I'll link it down below. But I didn't really enjoy it because I had a problem with Simon. Is Simon starting every chapter, every book? Because I don't like Simon. I don't get what people think about Simon, how they like him. And then the ending was so predictable. But it did have its plot twist. It did have its moments where I was like, what? Magnus and Alec. I need to see fan art of Magnus in all the cultural get-ups. I need to see him in some lederhosen. I need to see him in a little French shirt and a beret. Yeah. Also, him calling South Carolina exotic. It's not. Alec. Don't do it. Don't choose it. But yeah, Magnus and Alec. I ship. Magnus is my favorite character out of all of the books so far. The next book I'm going to read is Clockwork Prince. And I'm going to be reading that next month in March. And I may be doing a reading vlog on it. And if you can hear that, that's balloons. But yeah, didn't really like it. My rating is down below. The 11th and final book that I read in January, finally, was Gone by Michael Grant. It is a Teenage Muted Under the Dome by Stephen King. Okay, hold on. Where's my book? Okay, I got it. So this is a teenage Under the Dome. Basically, what happens in this was very muted in this. A dome falls over this town. A dome falls over this town. Keeps out outsiders. Makes the adults and anyone age 15 and over disappear. It's got bullies who try to become the law enforcement. Bullies who try to take over. Not really superpowers. Superpowers. God references. God references. Chemical drugs. Nuclear power plant. Do you see the similarities? Look at the size. This is 1,000 pages. This is 500 pages in a series. And this, I'm going to put this down because I'm hurting my arm. This has a blurb from Voya, V-O-Y-A, and it's a starred review. Okay? The blurb is this. Okay. If you didn't know, Under the Dome was written by Stephen King. Okay? This book came out before the show on CBS. The blurb. If Stephen King had written Lord of the Flies, it might have been a little like this. Okay, first off, this is nothing like Lord of the Flies. Let me tell you. I read that book in 10th grade. I fucking hated it. Stephen King. This book, I liked it somewhat. This book, like I said, a muted teenage Under the Dome. This person, or whoever wrote this review, has never read or doesn't even know that Under the Dome was written by Stephen King. Because if this person would have known that and had not just watched the show or ever seen the show, they would have wrote something totally different. But other than that, I enjoyed it somewhat. But the whole time I was reading it, I was thinking of this. I was. So, I'm eventually going to get to book 2, Hunger. And let's see how it goes. If it runs the same way. Because look. Same size. So, how do y'all feel about this series? Do y'all like this series? Did y'all like this series? Is it worth continuing? If I have this many problems with it already. That is it for this long ass January wrap up. I hope you enjoyed. All my links to my social media pages are down below. Come follow me. Come talk to me. I am very active on my Goodreads and my Instagram. I'm getting into my Twitter. And yeah, come talk to me. Come give me a follow. But yeah, all the links that I mentioned in this video will also be linked down below. Leave me a comment. Did you read any of these books? Have you read any of these books? Or are you planning on reading any of these books? If you want to buddy read anything, go over to my February TBR. And yeah, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video, which will be my TBR shelf tour.